Hi, it's Christopher, Mono County Library Director and co-host of the Oxygen Starved podcast, and I'm back with two great library books for Book Talk Friday. You know, an earlier version of myself, fresh out of college with a head full of ambition and a head full of hair, spent a couple of years as a bookseller in a wonderful indie bookstore in Santa Barbara. I think fondly of those times, and this week I thought it would be interesting to pick two books in which a bookstore is the central character, one old title and one new. So let's start with the old. 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff came out in 1970. It's available as an audiobook on our Hoopla digital platform, no waiting, and it's also brief, just 2 hours. This is based on 20 years worth of real-life correspondence between Helene and an antiquarian bookstore owner in London located at 84 Charing Cross Road. It was later made into a play and adapted for TV and film. Helene, based in New York City, first reached out to Frank Dole, the chief buyer at Marks & Company bookseller, in 1949 as part of her research on British literature. Thus was born a correspondence that blossomed into a friendship and explored topics such as making Yorkshire pudding, the Queen's coronation, baseball, and all sorts of things. Helene has a very chatty, informal Yankee voice that gradually forces through the British reserve of Frank and his staff, who come to look forward to her letters as well as her generous parcels of food to share among them, because they are still under austerity measures with post-war food rationing at that time. What also comes out is Helene's genuine love of books, not cheap reprints that she could find in local New York City bookstores, but antique bookstores with a quality of bindings and paper that make her almost embarrassed of her own bookshelves made out of orange crates in her apartment. She remarks how she loves used books because she enjoys turning pages someone else has already turned, or a book naturally falling open to a favorite passage of its previous owner. She wanted to travel to London to meet Frank, but unexpectedly he died before she could and his store closed. She published the book the next year and visited the site in person a couple of years later, and today there is a plaque at 84 Charing Cross Road commemorating this correspondence. Now, my pick for the new this time is The Sentence, the newest from Louise Erdrich, who won the Pulitzer for her last novel, The Night Watchman. She's a prolific novelist, has been for decades, and many people may not also realize Erdrich owns and runs an independent bookstore. Birch Bark Books in Minneapolis focuses on Native American works and the local Native American community. It is also the main setting for the action in this novel, centered around a fictional bookseller named Tuki, who has gotten the job after a stint in prison. The plot centers around Tuki and her most annoying customer, a woman named Flora, who desperately wants to pass as Native American and after she dies unexpectedly, returns to haunt the bookstore. Tuki just can't seem to get rid of her. This simple and somewhat amusing premise grows darker as Tuki can't rid the bookstore of her spirit, and it may be tied to the last sentence Flora read in a book she had open when she died. Set in the time leading up into 2020, when of course the pandemic and events around George Floyd's killing changed America forever, the main period runs from All Souls Day 2019, when Flora dies, to All Souls Day 2020. The publisher blurb sums it up saying Tuki must solve the mystery of this haunting while at the same time trying to understand all that occurs in Minneapolis during a year of grief, astonishment, isolation, and furious reckoning. I'll tell you, it's a great read that ranks up there as one of Erdrich's best. This is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. This is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. Both great books. Get them from the library or stop in and find another great read. In the meantime, stay safe, enjoy your holidays, and happy reading.